Oh, hello there. I didn't see you there. Just kidding. This is all staged. I knew you were there. We're here to talk about something that we think is cool that you may never run into. But if you ever do, we want you to know how cool it is. It's a 1971 Gibson SG-100 that's been part of my collection for, oh my gosh, coming up on 25 years now. I just want you to know what's special about this thing and why we like it so much. So stick around. So, in the early days of internet gear hunting, you wouldn't have sites like Reverb. You'd sometimes find things on eBay, and we're talking like 98, 99, 2000. And, but there would be sites that would pop up, and they would frequently just have lists of all the gear they have. Analog Man was kind of the pioneer of this. You'd go into Analog Man's inventory, and it was just a text list of all these pedals he had, just an endless list that you would comb through. One of these was a site called Sonic Flux, and I was living in Northern Virginia and outside of DC at the time. And Sonic Flux had just lists and lists of stuff. And one day I was browsing his site, and I realized he lived not far from me. So I went and visited Brad at Sonic Flux, ended up buying a Mutron wah-wah pedal and a ZVEX Super Hard-On, and just hit it off with the guy. And he had this guitar, and I was hunting for one of them ever since. One day I just messaged him. I said, where do you find another SG like yours? And he just sold this thing to me. I ran over there. I grabbed money out of the ATM machine, bought this guitar from him for a price that's, I'm not going to say because then I would be gloating. But then bought this guitar, ran off to the music store, went to Action Music, bought the first case that was available that would fit this thing. And I've loved this thing ever since. Well loved, sometimes well played, but well loved. So this is my 1971 Gibson SG-100 Junior. Yes, that almost sounds like a play call. It has so many descriptions as to what happens and what follows. But there's a little explanation for it. First off, we know it's 1971. The serial numbers indicate 71 or 72. But we looked at the potentiometers, and they are CTS pots dated to 1971. What makes this kind of special is that these were student guitars. That's not what SG stands for, but almost. But these were SG-100s. Normally had a single coil pickup in the neck position, kind of slanted. And they had a limited number of these bodies left over in 71, 72, and they just slapped P90s into them and called them juniors to, I guess, get rid of what was a struggling product. But what I think makes this thing really interesting is, one, it's a lot thicker than a lot of SGs are. I mean, this is almost Telecaster plank feeling. But the second thing that's really funky is that there's almost no tilt whatsoever at the neck joint where it joins the body. As a result, the whole thing feels very different than a lot of SGs, which kind of have this tilt to them as you're playing them. This feels very straight ahead. Other fun feature is that it has the 70s famed kind of volute here, so it kind of protects the headstock a bit. And then this is a fun thing, is that they didn't put any kind of veneer or overlay on the headstock, and so it matches the body, which is kind of a fun look. The pickup is hot as heck. Even though it only measures about 8.2K DC resistance and just about 6 Henrys of inductance, it is really loud and it is really up on the strings. I notice if I play this thing hard, I will sometimes cause it to go ka-dunk, because if I palm mute, I will end up putting the strings to the pole pieces. Pretty cool. We have this funky bridge cover thing that makes palm muting tough, so I would frequently remove that when I was gigging, and just underneath is kind of a looks sort of like a Shaler harmonica bridge and the two top hats. And man, this thing is just meant for rock and roll and causing trouble. I know Rhett Shull really liked this thing when he came and visited us one time in a YouTube video, and yeah, this thing is meant to beat some things up. So I like to think of this thing as like the serrated knife in your knife drawer. It does one particular thing really, really well. And when I would have gigs where I just was like stumbling, or I just needed more power or just more nastiness than I could get out of the other guitars, I would reach for this thing. And it's just like, it's like basically like you're igniting a flamethrower, running for the bridge, and then you're going to burn the bridge behind you. It was this thing. Let's have a listen. Hot P90, you want to hear it with some fuzz, we'll give you that. Here you go. One thing that's really nice about these kinds of bridge pickups is that they have tons of mids and they sit really well in a mix. So while you might gravitate towards these for dirty or fuzzy parts, sometimes I would use this guitar for clean or clean-ish delayed or reverb parts because they would punch through really well and sit really well in a mix. So why are we telling you about this thing other than to gloat about our good fortune? Well, sometimes I've seen these pop up over the years and they go for anywhere from $1,200 to $4,000 based on who knows what they have, how rare they are. According to the SG page, there are only 272 of these made. I've seen them sometimes in dark brown, sometimes in this red cherry kind of finish. Sometimes people just mislabel them as juniors, but these are thicker and more straight ahead, more plank feeling than a typical SG Junior. I just think they're fun, and we've delighted in having this thing. I've loved it for years, and that's just, if you come across one, I just want you to know what it is. SG-100 Junior, 71, 72 were the years they made them, and if you find one, I think you'll really enjoy it. So, hope that answers it. Thanks for watching this video, friends. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Please like and subscribe. We're going to fart around the rest of the day. We're going to get off of social media and screens and stuff. We're going to go to the Greek festival. Maybe eat half a chicken and some spanakopita and watch some live music and enjoy some culture that's different than what we normally consume day in, day out. And I encourage you to do the same. Have a good one, friends. Hello, Internet friends. It's Philippe from the future, the year 2000, the 21st century. We enter the world of online commerce. That's right. Our direct store is open now on our website at carolineguitar.com. We have a few little special things in there, namely about a half dozen of these rose gold blues pedals. Pretty cool, with the fancy Bourne's knobs and everything, and the torpedo-sized capacitors on the inside. And, ta-da, a batch of hoodies available for y'all to snap up. That's right. So grab some of these hoodies. We've got a little assortment and a mix of sizes. The rose gold blues. Hope you dig it. Like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the SG video. And yeah, check out this clip of the blues. See ya.
Thank you.